Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Docu Sweeties.
We're two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, through our own lens, honey, which can be pickly, real pickly, real salty, briny, kind of like fishy, maybe a little bit. Definitely a suspect. But at the end of the day, hopefully mildly sweet. Hi.
Hi! All right, you guys. So today we are talking 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way, Season 4, Episode 15. Where is love? Baby,
You
don't
don't
hurt
hurt
me.
me.
Don't
Don't
hurt
hurt
me
me.
no more. Oh, that's What is Love. But
It is what
anyways,
it is.
okay, also like where where is the
The
love?
love.
Yeah. What's
Yeah.
the song? Come on, what is it? It's a Fergie song, maybe, or is
Where
it
is the love, the love, the
the
love?
love? Yeah. Um. So this is finally an episode where the title makes sense. We're also going to talk about the tell-all part one as well. This was an interesting yet very toe-driven tell-all slash end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
And I have some strong opinions
Oh,
about certain cast members
hmm.
and their behavior at the tell all.
Ooh, I wonder if it's the same one I did because I think it's gonna be the same thing I did.
Yeah, it was shocking
We
to me.
haven't
Yeah.
we have not talked about this, and I can't wait to see because when the minute this happened, I was like, oh come on, fuck, dude, no, because it's like I don't agree with and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I think that there is just you have to make anyway. We'll see.
Yeah. And
Let's see if we're talking about the same
wasn't
thing.
wasn't a lot of Sean asking dumb questions. I feel like Sean got the notes from Twitter. And she was like, listen, I'm not going to do everything you say, but I hear you, you know? I feel like she took a little bit of our feedback.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and then there was some feedback that they didn't take from us, and it was having the weird cast members backstage,
I
namely
hate it.
Tim there again.
I hate
Okay,
it.
let's get started with the first couple. The first one that jumps in the top of my brain is Chris and Jamie.
Okay. I was like, I do have notes. You're acting like we didn't write notes. I do. But you didn't, but I did. Okay, great. Here we are. Let's see. Let's pull it up. Where are they? Oh God. Oh, we're in my thing. Ha ha ha. We don't have them, so just you know what they look like by now. You know,
So we start off where
it's like
we
that person.
yeah,
Sorry.
we get a little information from Chris that I think we kind of needed, but it wasn't enough to cover all of her annoyingness and terribleness. So she's outside and she's like, she's talking about how, she wanted me there, but my son was in jail. And then I don't know when she tells us this, but we get the information and Chris was right.
Yeah, I
Chris
was
was
right.
right.
Sorry, for a moment I forgot you were talking about me, Chris, and I was like, yeah, I was right. Okay, so I was what she's referencing is, last episode we did not know for what reason her son had caused her to miss the birthday, but we had some guesses, and my name is Chris, so it's confusing how she said that, but I, Chris, guessed the right thing that Chris's son had some drug issues. My God, did Twitter have a field day with this moment? Everyone was just like, Chris, really? What happened? You sent your son out to get more drugs, honey, and you got locked up? That's not me, that's them. But I mean, Chris's behavior the entire season, including the first episode slash the tell-all one, is just like bananas for someone who might be. I mean, if she's sober, it's absolutely crazy. And I'm only telling you this, Chris, because if you are like 100% sober, you have to know that you come off as being bananally addicted to drugs, and the fact that your son got arrested for drugs, not a shocker, you know what I'm saying? And so anything that you're going to do, like my son, isn't like you doing in the moment to be for your son. It makes us feel like you've already done your business as a shitty mom, and your son is reaping the rewards of you being a really shitty mom. If that is that's what you read, okay, that's what's reading. So I need you to change it if I'm wrong, but if I'm telling you how it reads, and I'm not alone. Okay.
Yeah, I played around with the idea that she was on painkillers. Like I literally just was like, "Oh my god, what an interesting point of view!" and ha ha ha. As a commenter of social reality TV and social media, this is my take. But after she said that, it's like I don't know, the worlds aligned and the planets, and it was like everything made sense. And when she got to the tell-all and told them that she was sick and vomiting, and I was like, oh my, I've been watching a lot of Intervention. I watched Intervention this entire weekend. And so I'm like, oh my God, did you just not have your drugs? Because this whole they didn't have my narcolepsy medication is wild, as though they don't have people with narcolepsy in Colombia. It is just it was crazy. And now it's like, oh, you mean you couldn't get pain medications, which you are clearly on, and your narcolepsy is you nodding off on opiates. Anyways, that's my hot take. Not Chris's, is mine.
I mean, it's Waz hot take and the internet. So, I mean, like, it isn't, I mean, I'm not to take that away from you, but yeah, like, that is what the streets and Reddit and everyone has been saying. And so the fact that she shows up again, as you said, saying that she's sick is just like, two things. Either she's an addict, right? And she is just so in it that she does not understand that she is not fooling anyone.
Yeah.
Or for she is so unfortunate in the situations of what she has befelled her that she's just coming off this way, and she has to really fight against the stigma that reads wrong. And listen, if that is it, I feel bad for her. But and maybe she's like, I already know Chris, and I'm like, well, maybe you should have gone a reality show, because no, this is not just me. Okay, so Jamie, on the other hand, is like, okay, it's not just the son, okay, because she left for 2 weeks and then come back for 5 months. And by the way, the son happened like antes day my birthday, which was like before my birthday. And by the way, I'm in debt up to my asshole, that's actually kind of low. So I'm in debt up to like my forehead, like I've never been before, because she's not here and stopped paying.
Yeah. And Chris thinks that this is what I needed Jamie to say, and I wish she had better command of the English language. When Chris comes back in and says, okay, I'm ready to listen, and Jamie says, I haven't been able to talk, Chris is like, well, you won't, I'm allowed to defend myself. And Jamie's like, I was only talking for about 5 minutes. And she's like, but I'm still allowed to defend myself, and doing all this deflective bullshit, like abusive type, gaslighting business. And then she's like, well, how much was the apartment? How much did I agree to pay for? And Jamie's like, 500. And she's like, no, it was 550. And
well, yeah, she wanted to pay 400, and then it ended up being, Jamie said it was only 500, and she's like, no, it's 550. So
yes.
Yeah.
And so and I'm not even saying, because you made a good point, Chris Farah, that like that's 20% more. You said in the like earlier episodes that like that can be a difference. But as for someone who purports themselves the way Chris purports herself, which is like, I worked 3 jobs and I own a home and like all these things, is like, okay. Anyways, but my thought is, was Chris from 90, Chris with a K, did she even pay the $400 a month and then let Jamie just like make up the rest? So it's like, even though you claim that she just wants you for a sugar mama, it's easy to say that. Like, it's easy to say that when you haven't been there to really feel the force of the sugar mama-ness. Like, you haven't been there. You left under the auspice of going to fix your bank and getting more medication, and then did not come back and expected everything to kind of be hunky-dory without being able to argue like an adult. So, yeah, they run outside. They're both wearing white, which is something I noticed I interest. And Chris, you have anything to say about this, Chris Farah?
No, I mean, basically, as you're saying, like, it's she comes back in, she's constantly yelling at Jamie, even though she told Jamie that she was the one yelling, and then she's like, very just textbook abusive and narcissist. And so in this moment, I'm actually just happy for Jamie, in that I know she'll watch this and be like, oh, I can just literally wash my hands of this. This is like thank God you all can see this. Like, camera. So basically, Chris loses her goddamn mind, goes outside, and like doesn't want to talk. And she's like, I'm done. You're the most selfish thing. And she's like running out, won't let Jamie talk, calling her selfish, saying how done she is, just like having a tantrum scene. It's just like laughable. I mean, like rolling eyes laughable. But Chris like goes into a car, and then Jamie comes up to her, and in this moment she is a little bit baiting her. Like, I will say that Jamie knows what she's doing. She's talking about her to the producers in front of her. She doesn't have to be in kind of like in her bag. I don't know exactly her point in doing this. Now what happens next, she does not deserve. But in this moment, psychologically, either she's trying to get at Chris, or she knows Chris is dumb, or I think that Jamie is happy that Chris is showing her ass on this. But then she does it even more, which is that Chris then lunges at Jamie in this minivan like two sisters who are fighting over fucking a afternoon snack. I mean, in a crazy way. And Jamie's like, "Do you see that? Do you see that?" And it's actually shocking. And also, anytime I see this kind of stuff, like, unless you literally are someone's older sister, then you're, 10, 11, 12, like, for grown adults to have sudden reactive movements like that always lets me know, especially on camera, that that's the tip of the fucking iceberg. That's them acting good. They're on camera. So even it's like, I saw that and I was like, no, I really, in the heart of my hearts, don't think that Chris is living her life as a healthy, sane, aligned, good person right now. And she's not being good to herself. And because she's not being good to herself, she's definitely can't be good to anyone else. So I really need her to get her shit together.
Yeah, she pushes her. The lunge was a lunge and push.
Oh, if I didn't say that, yeah.
And like I was taken aback because you're right, and I've never thought of it that way, but you're right. Anybody who would act out physically on camera is like, it must be a maniac when there's no one around, because I can't imagine if there's so many things that I see people do, and I think, how is it that you think you're going to come back from this? Who would take this? And that's it. If I was out somewhere and one of my friends pushed me, even if they were playing, even if they were kiki ha ha and they just were like inebriated or didn't know their strength and they pushed me and I either fell or just was, that would be honestly the end of the relationship. Like when I was in high school, when my friends would say something, like I would hit them. And I had one of my friends, I mean, not hit them in the face, Chris, like slap their shoulder, like, "Oh my God, you're so funny," like stuff like that. And one of my friends, Desiree, she was like, "Stop hitting me." Like the way she said it. And I was like, and at first I was like, you're weird. But like, cause I don't know, anytime, I don't know, my aunts would hit me like, "Ah, ha, ha, you're so funny." Like it was kind of
They
like,
never said that, Wah.
They never thought it was funny.
I'm being a bitch and
I was trying to go with your joke. I just needed to understand the intent behind the joke so that I could
that ruins the joke.
Does it ruin it? Sorry. Anyways, so I didn't think it was a big deal. And then when she said that to me, I was like, let me respect the fact that this person doesn't want to be hit. And I stopped doing it. However, I think anybody who does it to me now as an adult, not a high schooler, absolutely not. It is wrong. And I hope that the cast lights Chris's ass up next episode. I really want the cast to just go in on her. And if they don't, they're a bunch of PUSSYs. So Jamie is crying hysterically. She gets into the car and it is over. And when we get to the tell-all, Chris and whatever her name is, Jamie, say that they have not spoke to each other since. So I need to know how long it's been, because they're legally married. So they haven't even filed for divorce.
Oh, great point, Wah. So, okay, so let's get to the other people in the beginning part of the Where's Love part of the episode before we get to the tell-all. We open the actual episode on Gabe and Isabel. Gabe and Isabel are getting married. And you know what's happening. Basically, Monica has threatened not to come to the wedding. And I'm going to tell you this right now.
I didn't believe it.
Yeah. When they were doing this last episode, I 100% was like, we're being sharped. We're being sharped by a dull knife, honey. Like, like they are really trying to make some sort of drama and some storyline in this. And this is why. I, even in this moment, can't still believe she didn't go if she was still there. Like, what? Okay, so basically, yes. So Monica, as we know, got in a fight with Gabe. And the details are murky of what actually went down. And they are still going to be murky in this episode of why she'd be really pissed. But, and again, what is explained to me, or how I understand it, is kind of a vague version of this. I'll say it and then I'll come back later in the episode. But Gabe and Monica are hanging out. They're at a bar or a restaurant. Isabel is doing wedding shit, right? Isabel is running around, her mom's doing this, people are calling her. She's going to meet up with them, but, like, she's obviously, as anyone would assume, busy, and things are, needing her attention. Meanwhile, Monica either gets tired or is there a long time, I'm not exactly sure, but wants to go. Now, these two things, right. Now, here is the disconnect. For some reason, one of them gets upset, whether it's Monica getting upset because she feels like she should be she's forced to stay. If Monica's upset that Isabel wasn't there, if Gabe is mad that Monica's leaving, if Monica's mad that Gabe didn't tell Isabel that she should get there, and like none of this really is clear. Wow, like, right?
Correct.
It's
It
right.
is correct. You are absolutely correct. We don't know exactly where the tension aligns. If Gabe got mad at Monica for leaving, and Monica was like, "Well, you should just tell her that I'm tired," and Gabe is like, "Well, I don't
Yeah.
want to tell her that because she's busy," and Monica's like, "Well, it's not because she's busy; it's because you're scared of her, and I don't, you know." So this also leads me to believe that Monica is an asshole. Like I am no longer on Monica's side. The fact that she chose to not go to the wedding, or unless she came late and they didn't film it, or they decided to, like, let the audience believe it. But there is, I mean, unless we had gotten to a knockout, drag out, fighting fisticuffs argument, I would, and or unless Gabe was like, you know what, don't come to my wedding. That is the only way you would not go. But Gabe is like, I don't know. Monica just says she's not coming because she's upset about last night. And this is the part that got me upset. Not upset, but I didn't understand. It's Gabe is like, I'm really late for the wedding, but I decided to not tell Isabel because I didn't want to upset her on her special day because Monica wasn't coming. And I was like, what does that have to do with you being late? Like,
Yeah.
can you explain? Can you like bring that out a little
Right.
bit more? Was it that you were waiting for Monica and then Monica was late and then all of a sudden she texted you and told you that she wasn't coming and then all of a sudden you had to like lay down for a little bit to cry, but then you got up? Like, explain to me what's going on. And another thing before I forget it, did you notice the way when Gabe and his mother get to the venue? Did you notice the way that like Isabel's father like grabbed Gabe's mother's head in that hug? I was like,
No.
what? Like he like goes in for the hug and he like grabs her head as though she's like his like Nina, and like from the back, and then like I was like, whoa, that's a grown woman.
No, I
Go
totally
back
missed
and
that.
watch it. Go back
Okay,
and watch it.
okay.
It's real awkward. But anyways, go ahead if you have
That's
anything to say.
yeah. No, I just yeah, like at the end of the day, it's funny. It makes me feel like Gabe isn't taking care of Gabe's business. Like that's what it is. The Gabe's vagueness of what happened, and I've already said this before. It makes me feel like he is just not. He's not standing, firm in the boundary of who he is in the relationship with his sister and the relationship with his wife slash fiance, this part of wife, and who can tell him what because he's a grown ass man.
Mhm.
Like there's just that a part of it. So it's like, it is not, again, it is not hard to be like, yeah, sis, like Isabel, obviously, getting married to me, haha, tomorrow morning is just like she can't fucking make it, in time. I know you're tired. So like, I don't understand what the disconnect is unless you are literally being like, come on, Monica, stay, don't be a bitch. I mean, I literally don't know what it is that grown people can't just make decisions for themselves that serves them, as well as you just respect the decisions that your friends. I don't know. Like, I don't know what the disconnect is. Anyway, so let me move on from that because, like,
Yeah,
go ahead.
but
Go
here's
ahead.
the truth. I was confused at Gabe's behavior at the tell-all, because you would think that based on his like tittering and tattering and like scared behavior between the two women in his life, you would think that he would be like a little mouse. But oh no. Gabe has a lot to say at the tell-all. That is very like, inappropriate. Okay, so let's move on to
Yeah.
Rishi and Jen.
Yeah. So, and then we also have Nicole Mahmoud, then we'll get to it. So basically, we'll go to Nicole Mahmoud because it's a little scene. So Nicole and Mahmoud,
I don't remember it.
she comes in. Don't worry. I have notes. I don't know why you don't believe me.
Oh,
You're like, oh,
it's not that I didn't believe you. I just don't remember Nicole and Mahmoud. So go ahead.
oh, I know. But I guess I'm like, you don't have to remember it. You could just know that I'm going to talk about it because I have notes. You're acting. That's why I'm like, it's
No,
okay.
I'm not looking at the notes. I'm just going off of memory.
I know, but you could, so you can see what I'm doing. I don't know. You do you. So Nicole and Mahmoud is, I'm only playing with you. You do whatever you want. Because I was like, do okay. Nicole and Mahmoud, she comes in. I just, I just need to give it to her because she is meticulously dressed in every scene. And there's just the level of, perfection that she has given to us on camera. I don't even like it's
Oh, yes. Go ahead.
she is just, I mean, she is coiffed and buffed in a way, and she's doing it in the smallest bathroom. We know what she's doing it in. I just like when she comes on camera, I'm like, she fully has the most natural, every morning she does the strip a lash of lashes, which I now realize that's why when she has no makeup on, she does look so starkly different, but like she has the most, I mean, she is doing such a beautiful job of doing her look, God bless. So here she is. And they sit down and have this conversation now with Mahmoud. And we are now to the point that we understand that she's going to go back, that he has said, okay, that he's going to go back to America, that he's open to that. And that, of course, there leaves some problems. And I want to call out Renee. Renee on Patreon or on the YouTube was like, maybe like 4 episodes ago, was like, oh, I smell a rat. I smell a Matt Sharp rat. They are conning us because they're going to be in the next season. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's brilliant. So here we are in the scene, and we lay up not one of two things. The overreaching problem from this season is to lay the groundwork that it could be a problem next season, as well as an out of the blue fucking where did you come from storyline that Mahmoud of all people, a virgin fabric store boy, honey, that like fell in love with Nicole, who's 12 years old, and like also is like a ladies' man and like trying to hook up with people selling him TVs on Instagram or
China. I don't
I
know.
mean, it's like a crazy story. But yeah, that is basically this conversation. Wow, now that you remember, like, what was your favorite part of this?
Okay, yeah, girl, I did not remember that scene at all. Yeah. So they go and they sit, and she's like, "This is a great view," and he's like, "Yes, night view," and she's like, "Yeah, this is a great view." I'm like, "Stop saying it's a great view. Great, it's fine." So they get some tea, and she has like this tea that it looks like it's just filled with milk with like a Lipton's tea bag in it, and I was like, "What is that?" And so they're talking, and she's like, honey and babe and all this stuff, and then all of a sudden she's like, yeah, when you're talking, your extracurricular activities, what you do when you get upset. And he's like, what? And she's like,
Yep.
yeah, the thing that you do get upset when you go on your phone and
Sorry.
talk to other women and ask them if they got home okay. And
Yeah.
then he's like, well, why you go through my phone? And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, Mahmoud, no.
Bad answer. Wrong answer.
No, Mahmoud, that you have been shitting on her about her outfits. She's asking you if she could wear like a t-shirt length sleeve, and you're like, I don't like men see my woman. And I'm just like, listen, I want to tell him so bad, Mahmoud. In the US, a woman's arm does nothing for a man, okay? A woman's arm does not turn him on. So maybe here in your part of Cairo, seeing an elbow does something for a man, but not in the States. So they're talking about that, and then she calls him out on the fact that he's been talking to some woman, and he like acquiesces and is like, okay, you're right. Just like, Mahmoud, no, 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 no. You have been yelling at her for clothing, and you're over here asking some other bitch if she got home okay. That bitch will be fine.
Also, I was so confused. In China?
I was like,
She got home in China, okay? Like,
I
what
was
the
like,
fuck are you gonna
Ahmed,
do?
what's
Like,
going on?
she writes back, no, what the fuck are you gonna do? Okay,
Yeah,
like,
nothing.
yeah, I also love Nicole for something she said in the scene too, when going back and talking about how he's going to deal with her clothes if they get to America, which is she's like, do you think that instead of like having to change, instead of me having to change how I am and my behavior, do you think you can actually just address your own anger that arises from your jealousy of seeing me this? Would you think that you actually could work on your thing that's the thing
Mm-hmm.
instead of me having to change my behavior when it's just affecting you now that you're here? Just like, and you know what? I'm going to tell you this. I don't understand I guess why everyone expects Mahmoud to be like a Silver Lake white hipster, like living in, it was like, like a, Bernie apartment, a Bernie
Sanders,
living apartment. Yeah, you know what
Sanders.
I'm saying? I don't understand exactly why we expect this of him. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that he's like, I hear that and I can get it. I'm like, good.
Yeah, I don't understand why she's moving to LA. Is there, I mean, I'm sure there's mosques in Los Angeles. I'm not saying there's not. But he's worried about community. And I hope that she's moved to a community. I hope that she's moved to a place where he can have friends. And I don't think she has. And so
Oh, I
that's
I
go ahead.
disagree, my love, because it's a major city. So yeah, I mean, I think that this is way better than she's from Appalachian Blobbity Blue. So the fact that she's in a major city means that, and especially it's the second major city in America, there's definitely a community for him. There's definitely a lot of Muslims here in comparison to other places, except for Dearborn. There's also a lot there, but yeah.
Okay.
Also because I'm Arab, I know some. I know a lot. So yeah, in Orange County, there's a lot. There's a lot of Egyptian Muslims down in Orange County specifically. My friend Rami.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I
Great.
hope
So,
she's moved to that community so that he would have that for himself.
do you think she did, or do you think she moved back to the apartment where I know exactly where she lives on the corner of Franklin next to this Liberty Center?
I mean, that's what I was thinking with my original thought,
Mhm.
but what I know that there's mosques in Los Angeles. I'm just like, where are those communities? Like, I can't be like, oh yes, they're on Sunset and Vine. Like, I can't do that in my mind. So I'm like, I hope she moved to that, whatever that community is, wherever it is. I hope she moved to it so that he would have that, because I think that it's got to be very hard because LA is a wild ass place, and I'm not saying that there aren't people who fucking thrive in America, but Mahmoud seems like very conservative. So that's my thought, is like, I hope he can find his community.
He is obviously going to have to go through a liberalization. I mean, in some way, a progressive liberalization. I mean, he's going to, and I mean that in a sense of he's going to have a culture shock, and there's going to be some things that he's going to have to let go of. Now, not everything, and I'm not saying that everyone does, but I mean, there are certain just ingrained rituals, and there's also certain ideas you have when you haven't ever lived in another place and such. So, anyway, let me tell you. After this, we have, of course, the Jen and Rishi final scene, which is no, actually, let me set up. So there's a scene with Rishi and his friend, and then the Jen and Rishi final scene. But basically, he meets up with that friend, the astrologer friend, that told him that he has to like only tell his parents in August. Ha ha ha. About him and Jen, and when the astrologer gets there, they meet up at a temple. The astrologer is basically like, "Okay, I lied. No, I lied to you. No, I told you that. No, I said like, like, oh, yeah, do this thing, and like, it might be really, really hard, haha. And if you do this thing, this is how you do it. But I'm gonna tell you that the whole entire time, you were never supposed to get married. You aren't supposed to get married. It's never supposed to happen, and you have to let it go. I didn't say it because it's sometimes hard being a whole like astrologer slash friend thing. And it's so funny because now I think I finally, I get a second part. Listen, I'm not someone who like knows a lot about Hindu peeps, but obviously we have juxtaposed Jenny and Sumit against this couple the entire time, much to the dismay of Jen and Rishi. But there is, some small or big, depending, similarities. And one is my understanding now of the prevalence of astrology in Hindu customs. For some reason, I just didn't quite understand its impact. Like I know, yeah, that it is very much there. Anyway, well.
Yeah. I Every time I watch that man, I am upset because I feel like he just looks like a fuckboy. One, two, in my mind I was like, oh my god, he's wearing the loudest shirt ever. Like I can hear it all the way in America, but it really wasn't even loud. I just judged the shit out of him. So there were a couple of words in Hindi that I was like, oh, there's no Hindi word of that. It was like a bunch of words that they would say in English, and I was like, oh, how interesting. Or maybe they don't know it, or maybe it's just not in their vernacular because they like speak both languages. Very interesting.
Yeah, like complex.
Yeah.
Like
And I'm
you would,
like,
yes. You were like, did you say the word? Yeah, complex. You're like, oh,
And I'm like, there has to be, because the language is as old as time. That's one of the oldest languages. Well, maybe not Hindi, but
Complex
like
language.
it's, yeah, it's a complex. I'm like, yeah. So it was just like, I don't know. I just assumed that they would have words, whatever. So it's really just really interesting from that perspective. And Rishi is so sad. He is so sad. He goes and meets Jen, and he's like, wow, it's really humid in here. And then like next scene, he's just like sweating profusely. And for some reason, Jen, who has immaculate highlighter on, looks great.
Yeah, I mean, she A looks really beautiful in the scene, and then B, she sits in the part of the cafe where the light's coming in on her, so she looks like a goddamn angel, and
Yeah.
which is the exact way you'd want to end this type of thing, And so in this moment, I'm happy for Jen, and just like I've never not liked Jen, I don't think that I think that she has made dumb and foolish choices and kind of obviously continues to do so, like on Instagram and such. But so do I, in life we all make dumb foolish choices, but like I don't dislike her. And the same I don't dislike, Daniela, like it's just they're kind of fun foibles to watch or whatever. I definitely don't dislike Debbie, but okay, so from this astrologer scene, yes, we have this breakup scene, and basically in this breakup scene, she has to not only break up and be like, do you really understand though that I'm looking at you right now, and I'm gonna go back to America, never see you again, except for the tell-all. God bless. And he's crying and crying, and he can barely look at her, and he's like, but we've had such beautiful moments. And then you and me and all of us that watch it started thinking of them fucking. We were just like, oh, you fucking? Like, is that what you're thinking of, Rishi? Like crying. I'm like, oh, I love it so much. But basically, then they come outside and they like hug, and he goes to kiss her, and you know that he wants to do one of their kisses because we've seen them kiss now twice. It's great, where it's like, whatever, it's great. It's a great kiss. But she won't. She's just like, and then she like walks away, and she does not look back. She does not give him that. She just walks away.
Yeah, my only critique is that she was wearing a weird pleather tan belt that did not go with the outfit at all. But I know it was there to cinch her, which I understand the purpose. It just wasn't right. However, it probably wouldn't have looked this cute without a belt.
God, so you're saying I need a cincher in every color, every fabric, every style? You need
No,
good
but when you wear a flowy dress, you do need something around the waist to kind of give you that hourglass shape. You already have an hourglass shape.
I know I do, but thank you so much. But when I don't wear a weight, yeah, but then if I wear like something tenty and I don't put that belt on, honey, then it becomes
Well,
a
yeah,
tent
I
shape.
mean, yeah, it does, but that's like I don't think you need one going around the streets of Orange County. But I think when you're on
Mm.
TV and you're walking, like if she were walking around Jaipur without the belt, it would be fine. But I think she was on TV, so she's like, "Let me give myself a waist," and I was like, "Okay, I'm here for it," but it's the wrong color.
Okay, but I mean, what I'm hearing is I want to buy one in every color. Okay, so, I will also this news because you had talked about what the tea that Mahmoud and Nicole were drinking in that scene about like Lipton, pretty much milk with like a tea bag of Lipton inside.
Yeah.
In this scene in their coffee shop scene, it looks like they are drinking out of the terracotta like flower pots that like a basil plant would be given to you in.
Yes, it was very, very small. And I was like, "Oh, this is nice." Like in the States, we do everything really large, right? So it's like you go to order a chai tea and someone brings you the smallest little flower pot. You're like, "Hmm." But the fact that it's just like there to chill, you're there to play like dominoes, or maybe maybe you just hang out with your friend, you drink, have a little sipsy sips, and maybe it's like kind of sweet, so you don't want a lot.
But okay, but it's only no, I think to me it's only okay if there's also a big pot on the table that you get to refill at your own leisure, your
Mm.
little flower pots, because when I'm thirsty, I'm thirsty. And when was thirsty for some Chardonnay, honey, gunk. I'm just kidding. On Patreon, you can see that she just took a sip. That's what. Don't if you aren't on Patreon, you will think that I'm just like being mean to you this entire episode.
You had some feelings, and I accepted it because I was
I
like,
guess what I
you
kept thinking? I was like, does she know that I have notes? Because I feel like you kept being like, I don't have notes and I don't know the scene. And so in my mind, I was like, oh no, you could. Just so you know, if you didn't have to feel that way because
Oh no,
I put it there.
I don't feel anyway. I am trying to at least go off the top of my head because I was like enjoyed the episode and didn't take notes. But what I was thinking is like when you put Mahmoud in them, and when you said that, I was like, girl, whatever their scene was, whew, whatever it was, like I just completely forgot. It wasn't a judgment on the fact that like, oh my god, I really don't remember. It wasn't that. I just think that we're having a difference of being able to read each other's emotions, and perhaps it's because we're not in the same place. You know, like I haven't seen you in a while, and then the last time I did see you, like it was a stressful situation. So I feel like when we drove, it was
Oh
stressful. I
yeah,
was
no,
I was
yeah, yeah.
stressed. I was stressed. So I don't want to put that emotion on you. I was stressed, but like maybe it's just like you just aren't able to pick up my cues because it feels like you got very upset with me when I was like, I don't know if there's a large Muslim population in LA. I was like, okay, girl, I don't know. But it
Oh, there's like
wasn't.
yeah.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, I do. I was like,
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess I was just yeah.
Yeah, so like I just think we're having a moment. Patreon will see it, and obviously, I've definitely written down the times so that I can delete it for the free feed. So that
Oh,
I could just delete that. But yeah, no, Patreon. Hello, I'm talking to you. We just haven't seen each other in a while. So if you feel tension, she's doing a thing. Last time we saw each other, I was doing a thing. I'm stressed. She's stressed. So we're just having a moment. So if you pick up on anything, don't say anything. Just kidding. But anyways, that's it. I'm writing things down, Chris. I'm deleting all of this.
honey,
Okay.
she's making notes. You know what we won't ever have is a commercial break ever again.
Yeah,
So
I freaking forgot about it, but I make them up. So what I do to make a commercial break is I go in and I listen to around the part that I want to whatever, and any just blobbly blue nonsense, I just delete it and leave the space there for the commercial. So if it's just like rambling and you already got your point off, or like I just said an extra thing that didn't need to be said, I just silence that area and now there's a space. I figured it
she
out.
silences the area, honey.
Hmm.
She silences the area.
Yeah.
Um,
So where were we at? I don't remember.
I have a surprise for you. So I'm gonna change the thing. So do you want to not start yet, or is Patreon still? Can you give
Yeah.
me a second for Patreon?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, this is what I want to say. Patreon, I'm gonna have a surprise for you and Waz. So Waz gonna talk to you. When I come back, we can start the episode again. That's what I
Okay.
want to say.
Where did we end up? Great. She took it off so she can't hear
Anyways.
me. Um anyways, this is Patreon only. Hey guys, I bought this dress from Old Navy, and it's see-through. So I just don't know how I'm going to wear it in public. But I don't feel like you can see my chi-chis, which I'm not going to show you. I don't feel like you could see it, but like I still don't know that I would be comfortable. You know, I'm a lady of a certain age, okay? I see the young girls out. I saw Janelle Monáe's music video where just the tatas were out. I am not in that place in my life. Oh, you know who we got? We got a new patron, and that patron is Leah. And listen, for those of you who joined, you know, we just shouted out Renee, so we love her so much. I just saw that someone named Leah joined our Patreon, so that's super, super cool. I'm going to be in Los Angeles next weekend. So maybe if there's time, Chris and I might be in the same place for next week's episode. If we do it on Wednesday, let me ask her, see what she has to do on Wednesday, because I actually fly out from Los Angeles back to Minneapolis at 11:30 p.m. So that means that I would have the whole day to like chill and do stuff. And I'm renting a car, so that would be awesome possum. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I gotta set my alarm. I have a doctor's appointment in the morning. Anyways, guys, I hope that you're okay. I hope that you guys have had a great May. It's been an interesting May for me. Oh, Chris has a show if you guys are in the Los Angeles area on in June from the like in June. I don't know. I don't know the dates. I'll be there on the show on Thursday the 15th. So if you want to come to that show and meet us, Thursday the 15th, I'll be at that show. You see, you just hear her bangles jingling around, jangle jangle. Jangle jangle. What is she doing? I don't have anything else to talk about. Okay, guys, I just took her out. It's the Wahamalino show. I haven't gone live on YouTube in a while. And I realized that the other day because I was like, oh, I haven't gone live on YouTube. I need to go live on YouTube. So sorry for those of you guys who follow me on YouTube. I haven't been giving my opinion. I kind of forgot. It's really busy. I'm really busy. Work is stressful. So much going on. So much going on. Do you guys like my glasses? They're new. They're my new black glasses. I purchased other glasses, but they're not here. And I can't get up and leave you guys. Oh my gosh, she got ready. Wait, let's let her set up. Oh my god. This is the craziest thing. You bring yourself in when you're ready, girl. I wish that it were like pink or something. No, your jacket or like some bright color. Yeah, take it off. It's giving like witch or Cruella de Vil instead of who you want to give. Patreon, Patreon, Patreon. What are we going to talk about? What do I have in my nearest vicinity? Oh, can I show you guys some more pictures? Okay. I still have my picture book here. Here is a diary. Shall I read out of the diary? Okay. Ooh, this is really deep, guys. Tell me what to do. What do you do when a friend lets you down? You would do anything for them, pound for pound. But where do you draw the line? When they want to hit it from behind? Of my friends, you were the brightest star. How did we let it go so far? This isn't where it should be. You have lost your respect for me. With friends, there are places you shouldn't go. If you have the feeling, don't let it show. When I took you, when I took look at you, I feel empty, uncomfortable. I never should have went between the sheets. You were my boy, my dear friend. I never thought it would have to end. But the love you gave wasn't good. Until this day, I never understood how you could just not care. And when we talk about it, you just stare. You don't understand my heart, but I don't understand how you could treat me like dirt. This is the bridge. Apparently, this was a song. Because we are friends, you thought I'd understand. Your wham bam, thank you, ma'am. I'm not some tramp for your pleasure. Compared to dudes I've had, you just don't measure. I give you my body, and this is what I get: a walk to the door after a 5-minute hit. Written by an angsty teenage. Ah!
Oh, Osama! That's my Osama! Oh, my beautiful poet! Oh, my Osama! Oh, here I am, Miss Debbie, in New York. I love accessories.
She said, oh, it's the beginning of temporary insanity. And cackles as she runs in.
It's so nice to be here. Now, you reached out to me on Instagram for me to come and talk on this tell-all, an exclusive just for Docu Sweeties.
Okay, Miss Debbie, I have a question.
Sure.
So, Julian,
Oh, that bozo.
you think Julian is a bozo? You love him.
I do. I know. He's my best friend.
Okay, so thank you so much for coming on this program. Why did you choose to go on 90 Day Fiancé?
Well, I thought love had left me. I thought I wasn't going to experience any more love and romance in my life. But on Instagram one day, a bright boy came in my DM and he just really showed me what a beautiful spirit there was still in this world to love. But then also he told me a bunch of lies, and I went there and I was sure shown to be an ass. But I also rode an ass. So in the end, I don't have regrets.
One last question. That's a really great story, Debbie, and I'm really happy
I
that
have a lot of stories.
Yes, you do.
I have a lot of necklaces and rings.
And as every woman should, you are a lady of the gemstones, and we appreciate it. Last question. When did you first find out that Osama's eyes looked in different directions?
Well, an artist in a poem, it's something that talks to you. And it's something that also it also is something that you see. And sometimes those two things are in different places, and sometimes Osama's eyes are in different places. But you follow one and just hopefully the other one shows up.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Miss Debbie. We absolutely appreciate you coming to join us today. If there's anything you could say to our audience, what would you say?
Never stop buying things.
Oh, great advice. All right, Miss Debbie. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, let's get back to my poetry. Speaking of poetry, listen, this is page 1 of my angsty teenage book. Okay, I would have liked this book to be a journal, but I wouldn't be able to keep up with it. I would have also liked this to be a write back book, but I don't have anyone to write to. So I will make this my rambling book, where I just write my thoughts and feelings. Well, as for today at school, I did nothing but talk to people about their relationships with people. I couldn't talk about that because I have never had one intimate or opposite sex relationship with anybody. It's like some people I like because I know that I wouldn't have any competition with other girls. I hate competition for 2 reasons. One, because what if I lose? And the second, why would I give him the benefit of seeing me fight over him? I will never fight over a guy. If he likes me, then he will tell the other girl to kiss his ass and never talk to her again. I have been called ugly and made fun of, that I have a real hard time believing people when they say I am pretty. I guess I'm waiting for someone I like to tell me. Besides hearing you are so beautiful from old people ages 23 plus. Old people ages 23 plus.
You're a fucking bitch back then. This is what a bitchy person that wrote this.
Is kind of pointless. Maybe I'm a required taste. Cool, because most high school guys aren't even worth my time. It's weird. The ones that are worth my time are one fake and stupid, one I like. Why do high schoolers have to be so immature? It pisses me off, but what can I do about it? I just want to be held. That it's That's it, held and kiss. But since I'm apparently not good enough for guys I like, seriously, what is wrong with me? It makes me cry sometimes. Girl, it still does, okay? It still does.
Oh my
Hey,
God. Wait, I'm so sorry. As much as I love this, we
you
do
have to
have to
go?
go. Yeah. I love you so much. I'm so sorry. Cause I'm doing a rehearsal with Amanda.
Okay, so we're ending it at,
Oh no, we have to go back and finish.
yeah, 50.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. 40, 50. Great. All right, ready? You start it. 10 seconds. Okay, Patreon. Jesus. Hello. So we're back. You guys are great. I mean,
Yep.
that we just had a full like Patreon moment for a solid 15 minutes. A solid 15 minutes. Started at 35 and now we're at 50, which might be for more than 50 minutes. I don't know math. Okay. Anyways.
So let's get to the tell all now. So this is part two of this episode, but part one of the tell all. And we are now going to realize how they set it up because it's always confusing. And this is the first thing we see. Gabe is now in like what looks like a Brooklyn
Mhm.
hotel, but it also looks like Rebecca and Zayed's apartment where she didn't have furniture. Same, it's the same thing
Yep.
with the Brooklyn thing. Okay, so I'm like, it's suspect, but okay. Again, as we've seen, we had a tell all where everyone was at the same hotel and they hung out the night before they met, so they had like relationships kind of and or dramas going into the tell all because quote unquote people told each other their opinions early on, and so that's what happened. But now we see people are going right from this morning to the tell all. So there's no intermingling. They are showing up day of. Some people already have opinions. God bless, like Gabe. Gabe's the first person to get there. Gabe's there. Then Nicole walks in. She looks stunning. I mean, like asymmetrical.
Yeah. But
Shoulder gorgeous.
even her outfit that she wore when she was getting out of Suburban was cute.
Yeah.
And then that necklace I know was painful. Like it was a good idea in theory, but in like practical application, it was just hitting like what would have been her Adam's apple. And so we also have Debbie who gets out of the car fabulous in like a yellow furry sleeved like carpet bag type thing, and she's like, "This is some kind of insanity," and she like runs in. And she then puts on the most, fabulous, ridiculous outfit ever. She has on all the necklaces, all of the rings. She has on like metallic green boots. And she just comes in. Everyone is so excited to see her. But before that, we have Gabe who gives us his opinion to Nicole. And he tells Nicole that he was rooting for her. He doesn't like Chris and he likes Osama. And so at that point, we were like, "Oh, something is wrong with you. What are you even talking about?"
When he said that to me, I was like, when did they film the tell all? Has he not seen, like, where is he in the tell all? Is he at the part where Osama has his first poetry reading at the cafe? Is he saying this because the last thing he saw Osama did was like, "You are my sun, you are my moon," whatever he said? I don't know. That's not what he said.
But the thing is, though, like even Osama said in their second or third episode that he wanted to move to the U.S. and she got upset and went to sleep and then woke up the next morning. He's like, "Oh, I don't speak good English." But I don't know. At that tell all, he was speaking very good English. That's the best English. I mean, he did better than Mahmoud.
Yeah, no, I was kind of wanted him and Mahmoud to talk more, and when they have only a moment, I'm like, well, this has to happen more. But basically, okay, so yeah, Gabe's there, Nicole's there. He doesn't like my mood, loves Osama. Danielle comes in. She is wearing this outfit, honey, that looks kind of like, I call it like Vegas prom mermaid,
Yeah.
like it's kind of like a Vegas prom mermaid dress. It's so interesting.
This is her first tell all. She didn't know what to do. This is not her first season, but Paradise doesn't have a tell all. So she doesn't like understand the tell all vibe. She just was like trying to do her. And she was very scared that the cast would have something to say about her. She was quite quiet when they all sat down in what was the green room that Jen, for some reason, thought was the actual stage, which is like crazy.
Yeah, but she thinks that because there's no difference. They're being filmed each time and she's being not mic'd up. So in her mind, she's like, "Oh, we're not doing the tell-all. We're sitting here talking. Oh, there's even more. We have to wait." I'm sorry, you're saying even though we're sitting here filming and you're filming us sitting here talking, that this is whatever, not real, and we're gonna go to a different place and be real. Okay, like I think that's what she meant. You
Where's
know,
Sean Robinson? I mean, Gabe actually made a good point when he was like, "Where's Sean gonna sit then?" Duh. And I was like, "Okay, Gabe, I see you." But that's the only part that's good. Gabe actually quite shocks me. When I said at the beginning of this episode that there was something that I was like shocked at when I watched this, I was quite shocked. Now I understand that Gabe has a very specific feeling towards religion because religious folk can sometimes be quite mean towards LGBTQ AI plus folks. Wait, is it AI or just plus folks? And
AI.
I don't know, like
Sorry.
asexual and something else.
Oh, maybe you are right. Just yeah, maybe you're right. I don't know. Just the way AI obviously brought me to a different place. Okay.
Maybe not AI, a something, but anyways, plus. And and so he just came out the gate shooting, and his borderline, I mean, maybe it wasn't Islamophobia because it wasn't specifically towards Islam, but when Sean Robinson is like, wait a minute. If this was a Christian or a Jewish family saying that they're going to raise their kids Jewish, would you have the same thought? And then he doesn't say yes or no. He's just like, I don't like I don't like religion telling people. I think people should be able to choose. It's like, I'm sorry, what planet are you living on? People who are one religion are going to raise their kids in that religion.
Yeah.
There's no religion that's like at the end you get to choose. Like sometimes some religions pretend that like you get a choice, like the Amish, or like yeah, you go and do Rumspringa or whatever, and then come back and choose. And then like some people like when you go to catechism, it's like okay, you get to choose. But the truth is you don't get to fucking choose.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, Gabe. You have to grow up a little bit, and I'll tell you why. It doesn't make a difference. Like it's not about a religion because I can tell you right now, I don't think Chris was driving her son to church every day. I don't think he's on drugs because of the church.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's not big. It's like people are going to raise their children in the way in which they raise themselves and which they live their lives, regardless of religion. It's the way that they view morality. It's the way that they spend money. Parents cannot help but for the first 18 years or so raise a child in their best way of living, which they somehow is aligned to be this. Okay. And it might not be for everyone, but there's going to be things involved. Kids have to go to this school. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, not every kid can be like, I want to go to performing arts school, dad. Fuck this Catholic school. Like, I definitely wasn't able to do that,
Yeah.
like, and I don't think it ruined my life.
Yeah.
And if it did, then I really wasn't trying that hard. I mean, like it can't just be that one thing. So yeah, again, I agree with you. We both said it. I mean, I knew you were going to be talking about this because it was so heavy-handed the way that Gabe was trying to really what made Mahmoud say that he wasn't going to be religious with his kids or care if his kids are religious. And also, you're not even asking specific questions. Like, if Mahmoud's 7-year-old comes to him and is like, Daddy, I don't want to go to mosque or whatever, then he's fucking going to mosque.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if the kid is 19, Mahmoud's probably not going to be like, get a mosque, kid. Obviously not. So it's like, what are you even asking?
Yeah.
And you are asking it to make someone uncomfortable for their views on stage. And I don't want that for anyone.
Yeah.
I don't want it for Gabe, and I don't want it for anyone. And I don't want anyone to, I mean, when you do stuff, you expose yourself to get it back. And so it just, come on, Gabe. I don't want, listen, no, I mean, I'm so happy that Gabe has gotten to really express a love story. And I didn't say this in the beginning part of the episode, but I had said this earlier in another podcast. I love the fact that Gabe feels happy, loved, like, why I know that you and the Patreon and, me and everyone else know that like, it would feel great to be loved by someone and to feel that someone sees you and, expresses every part of their love for you because they're attracted to you, because you're the best thing, because you're beautiful, because you're the person that makes them whole. That is what we all want. 90 Day wants. Gabe found it and got to really express this love story that's like really beautiful with some beautiful scenes this season. Okay. And it's just like, so it makes me just like sad and disappointed that Gabe now has a moment of tell-all where he's being what seems a like bullying someone for having, like, yes, a completely different viewpoint than you, but this person obviously does. He has never left Egypt. We have talked about the fact that he's a 2-year-old, in a fabric store, babe. Come on, you know this too. I mean,
Yeah. And it's like Gabe's past trauma should not have been let out on Mahmoud. I'm sure that Gabe has at the hands of different religious folk dealt with things. But Mahmoud is not the person to take your vengeance out on. And for you to somehow allude that behind closed door he's somehow abusive to Nicole, or that he tells her what to do. Nicole foolishly made a choice to join a religion and say yes to things that she wasn't prepared to say. So let's go on ahead and hold Nicole, a 38-year-old grown ass woman, responsible for her choices. Now, do we all feel like she made some wrong choices? Absolutely. And do we all go, Mahmoud is like a baby nothing? Like, even his older brother was like, Mahmoud is a baby nothing. Okay.
yes,
This is the first time he's ever gotten his dick wet. So he doesn't
yes,
truly understand what marriage is. He's going off of what he thinks marriage is based on what people have told him, but he doesn't know. So we get that. I don't know. Gabe lost all, like, kind of like, he lost it for me. And I get why he did it, but I just, and here's the truth. I can't expect him to be a bigger person or a better person. He showed who he was. But the fact that he thought that Osama loved Debbie.
that part, that's the worst part for you. I know when he
Is,
said that, I literally was like, what part have you watched? You
yeah,
cannot have watched it all. Like,
yeah,
then you don't make sense as a person. Then
yeah.
I don't even understand
And
your
then
viewpoint everywhere.
when they showed what it was, and Osama was talking, he was like, "Oh man, you're making me not trust you, guy. Came in here on your side, and now I'm not." And it's just like, wow. I mean, it is just wow that he for one moment thought that it was like. I mean, the truth is that I did think Osama liked Debbie, but I also thought Osama was asexual. Like, I thought that there was some kind of other queerness happening with Osama, to where it truly was like he was demisexual, or he was like
Mm-hmm.
sapiosexual, or
Mm-hmm.
something,
Mm-hmm.
where it was like him and Debbie are not attracted to each other on a physical, sexual, whatever, because of the way he spoke. Now, I do know that there are men out there, Sumit, who do love women of an advanced age, a mature, seasoned woman. But Osama wasn't giving me those vibes.
Osama, I think, is, on a different level of, I think that he isn't of this world, which is funny because I don't think Debbie is of this world, but in their own way, they are absolutely nutty batty together. And at the same
Mhm.
time, crazy in their own ways. You know what I'm saying? She's nutty batty, like, wants to let go, and he's nutty batty, like, he thinks he's never gonna need a job just to make art and poems for the rest of his
Yeah.
life,
When he
which is,
fucking said that he would die for his art, I was like, there's plenty of people who die for their art, but they still become baristas.
it's just that you're not good enough.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're just not good enough. Sometimes you just need the Simon Cowell to be like, "Oh, don't do it. You're gonna waste your whole life. You're not good enough for it." Anyway,
That, and Chris, they said to him, you could sell your art. And he said, I don't want to sell my art to
hmm
tourists.
hmm
I want to sell it to people who truly understand. And I was like, sweetie baby honey, there is no way in the world that you are going to come to the US and guarantee that anyone will purchase your art simply because they look at you and your two different looking eyes and go, I understand your art. That's not how it works. Artists sell their art to people who want to buy art, not because the person has to write a dissertation or an essay understanding the reason why you're purchasing your art. You're doomed to starve. And then Johan's dumbass jumping in and being like, why not give him the visa? You could help him out. And I'm like, listen, I truly understand that, like, a visa is a very valuable thing, and you would be doing the homie a favor, right? To give him a
hmm
visa so that he can come to the US.
Yeah.
But Osama doesn't have any realistic goals of what he's going to do in the US. He's going to end up
hmm
going back to Morocco because he has
hmm
no discernible skills, and he's not willing to work in anything until his art gets afloat. So he's just going to be living off of Debbie. And it's like,
Right.
Johan, you are not the same as him. Like, you at least are attracted to Danielle, and you and Danielle have good sex, and you are comfortable being seen in public with her. But you think that Debbie should move this young ass 24
Yeah.
man to Sugar Hill, Georgia, so that
Mhm.
he can sell fucking art? What are
Mhm.
you even talking about? Debbie is not in the stage of her life where she's going to move to New York City or somewhere where he has a hope, Atlanta, of
Mhm.
selling his shit. She is trying to live
Mhm.
in her townhouse with all her kitschy shit around the thing, and she
Mhm.
never agreed to fucking take him to the US in the first place.
Right. I was like, she's trying to live in Morocco, so she's not even. Yeah. Yeah, no, it just was so that part was horrible. Obviously, the part that was LOL and generally jumped on this one was the part that he was like, it was revealed, of course. So anyway, basically, obviously, besides the fact that Gabe is annoying to us because of his disappointed behavior towards Usama, one thing that he does do well in this is the tell is pulled every fucking face. So when they're having this conversation, they bring out Julian because of Osama and obviously Julian's mom, who is Debbie, and he does what he has to do there, and Jen then gets to have her opinion when Usama then reveals that he has been texting Debbie, but then says that he's no longer in love with Debbie. So, in fact, the many thousands of texts and phone calls that have happened since was only to make sure that she knows that it's done. And Jen was like, okay, you dumb what? Like, you're
So
the
was
dumbest
Sean.
game.
Yeah, so was Sean. They were all like, "You were dumb. We all think it's lying." And then Julian comes out like a fucking Western gunslinger, and he's like, "Boy, you don't talk about people's mamas. I'm a cop. I can sniff out bullshit." And I was like, "Sir, I need you to take a step back." And she just loved it. Debbie was sitting there fanning herself, loving the fact that Julian didn't even sit down. He came in, he's like, "You don't talk about people's mama like that. You don't come over here and lie every single time in 5 seconds. If I would have 60 damn tagging bears to my mama, that's a damn stalker. You got mental problems, dude."
Yeah.
And everyone was like, "Oh my God." And then Jen was like, "Oh my God, Julian, I love you right now for what you just came out and did for your mother." Now, we all know that Julian is a mama's boy. And the truth is, when a mother like Debbie, how could you not be? She probably was pretty fun as a mom. Could you imagine her just being like, "Come on, Julian, let's go to Disneyland. Me and Julian are going to Disney World." She was probably at Disney World, like with the ears on, running around. She was probably a really good mom to children. And she's probably like, "Come on, Julian, let's order a meal and have some wine." You know, like, I imagine that Debbie was a pretty fun parent because she's such a free spirit. And at the end, she like gets up and she runs and she's like, "Julian, Julian. Now this is between just me and you and the fence post. But that Jen, she's single." And he's like, "Mama, why you gotta do me like that?" And she's like, "I cannot do you like anything." And he's like, "Okay, Mama, you give her my number and that's okay." It's the I mean, the truth is that Debbie is the shining ray of light through this entire season.
She looked like Mae West, honey. I mean, she came in, she just like, yeah, she really is such a light, and I want only the best for her. Remember that part where they asked Osama if he's sexually attracted to her, and then she's like, Debbie tells them about the nights in Casablanca. Like, and I was like, the nights in Casablanca! Like, it was, the night, like that, like,
Yeah.
there's certain like sound bites, like they didn't actually use that sound. I feel like they did not use that sound bite in a promo.
Yeah,
To
they did it.
They didn't,
And
because to hear it, it's like,
she's
the
like,
what night in Casablanca?
she was like, "You, he, well, we were having some wine and some cheese
Jeez.
and another charcuterie board, and he got amorous with me."
He got what does that mean? Does
Amorous?
that mean like I know
So
what that means. I know what that means. I'm sorry, but does that mean to him? Is that her nice way of saying we kissed on the forehead, or is that way of her
she's
saying
like, "You tried to be fresh and suck on my titties, but
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
no."
That hand got lower and lower, and then he started petting a different kind of kitty.
Yeah, who knows what happened? Who knows what happened? I mean, it was like, it was so kind of, it was so good. Like, this was a good ass tell all. Did we talk about any of, like, Rishi was trying to say some things too, and then Jamie was like, the reason why Johan and Osama get along is because they have the same story, and Johan's like, "Yes, we do have the same story. I married an old biddy too," or whatever.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, it also did break my heart that even after all that one more Debbie thing, and Debbie's like, well, I won't talk to him again. It would take so much for me to do. Like, he'd have to move a mountain. And then, like, Sean Robbins is like, what would the mountain be, Debbie? What does that mean? And then she just says, well, like, buy a plane ticket for me. And I'm like, what? You move a mountain is to go onto a computer and type HTML, but and also, no, honey, how the hell is this man gonna get? He doesn't have enough chickens or poems.
Yeah,
There's not chickens. There's no chickens and not enough chickens and poems in Morocco to get you a. What are you talking about? Anyway,
but I think that's why it's moving mountains, because he actually could never do that in a million years. He would have to like literally go get a job that he hated and save for 3 years in order to move said mountain for her, and he wouldn't do it because he would die for his art.
Here we are. I can't believe how many tell-alls are there? Is there one more or 3 more?
I think there's one more.
Okay.
We're gonna have a full hour and a half next time, so it's like, all right, 2 hours if you watch it with commercials. Hey, are you guys on HBO Max and Discovery Plus? And like, I need to go check this, but can I let go Discovery Plus because it merged, and so I should be able to watch all of my shows on HBO Max, or Max as it's called. We'll see.
Oh. Honey, down at the max gives me Saved by the Bell vibes. I don't know, honey, but thank you so much for, being on this journey for us as we recap this season, and we're almost done. But however, one rolls into the other. And as we've said, the promo for Before the 90 Days is out and it looks unfreaking believable.
My God,
it's unbelievable. No, it's magnificent. It literally looks crazy.
I can't even imagine it. I have a question for you. Are you busy? We can talk about this afterwards, but I want to know if you're busy next Wednesday. Let's put a pin in it, and we'll see everybody in the podcasting world later. You guys have an amazing time, and you can, if you wanted to be Patreon, you want to get that extra 20-minute content that you didn't hear, you can do so on patreon.com/docusweeties for $10 a month. We just got a new patron. Her name is Leah. Thank you so much. Or their name is Leah. Don't know your pronouns. Don't want to be wrong. And so again, patreon.com/docusweeties, $10 a month, exclusive content and shenanigans. I literally read from my diary when I was in high school. I really don't know what year it was.
Oh, I know.
Yes. Also, another thing that's happening is in June, if you're in the Los Angeles area, Chris Farah is putting on a one-woman show, and she's going to give you some deets. It's going to be in the Patreon. It's going to be everywhere. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it every single day until every single week until it's happening.
That's so sweet.
Chris.
Yeah, no, thank you guys so much. Yes, that's called Lebanese Debutante. It's part of the Hollywood Fringe Festival. Please come out. There's 7 shows, all in June, and I will post the information everywhere. But you can also follow DocuSweeties on your social medias at DocuSweeties on Instagram, at DocuSweeties on TikTok, and at DocuSweeties1 on Twitter. Of course, I'm at Chris L. Farah on Instagram. That's Just Call Me Juan on Instagram and the other things. We love you guys so much. Thank you so much for listening. Give us 5 stars. We'll talk to you later. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.